Hi, everyone. Happy Thursday and welcome to a Mulberry Talent Partners Career Conversation. My name is Leah Pons and I am the Talent Acquisition Specialist here at Mulberry. About Mulberry, we are a full-service recruiting agency serving the Pacific Northwest and San Francisco Bay Area. Our specialty areas include human resources, administrative office, finance, accounting, payroll, and operations. I encourage you to check out our website at mulberrytalent.com to view our previously recorded career conversations and our current job opportunities. So let's dive in today. Today, we are joined by our founder, Lauren Francis, and Brandi Oldham, founder and owner of Talent Career Coaching. Prior to becoming a coach, Brandi worked in corporate HR in both the finance and sportswear industries. As a coach, her areas of expertise include recruiting, hiring, personal development, team development, and training. Her goal is to help individuals and teams learn about their natural strengths, understand how their unique talents can make an impact, and design plans to help them achieve more. So without further ado, it's my pleasure to introduce Brandi and Lauren.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us. We are so happy to have you all here today to join this conversation with Brandi. Our entire team is so happy to have Brandi with us today. I was so inspired by our conversation that I invited her to join a career conversation. Brandi will talk a little bit more about her business, Talent Career Coaching. We have a lot in common. We're both champions for people, and we want everyone to thrive in their lives and in their careers. And that's just one of the hallmarks of our organization, Mulberry. And Brandi just aligned in her vision and her pillars, and all those things were just aligned beautifully. So we are so happy to have Brandi on today. So Brandi, tell us a little bit about Talent Career Coaching, and let's get started.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Lauren. I'm so excited to be here. I am Brandi Oldham. I am the owner and founding coach of Talent Career Coaching. I was just telling Lauren before this phone call, I'm actually in the process of expanding our team. So more to come, but currently Talent Career Coaching helps you in all stages of your career. So from the point that you have no idea what you want to do and you're exploring, all the way through the job search into professional development, becoming a manager or impacting a team, or even if you choose to leave and become an entrepreneur, I'm your gal. So I'm here to help. I want to make sure that you can achieve everything that you want to, because why can't you? There's no reason you can't. Very excited today to talk a little bit more about job searching and the fatigue that goes along with that. I've lived it. So Lauren, I'll hand it over to you and where you want to get started.
Yeah, when Brandi and I were talking about different ideas about how we could bring this conversation or a conversation to our Mulberry audience and to Brandi's audience, and we just started talking about different topics, and you can talk about what currently is going on. And this seems to be maybe a trend, or what you're seeing out there in terms of angry applications. And so I think it all stems from that the job search process is a big undertaking. And we go in stages with job searching. We get really excited, and then it has its ups and downs, and it's a very lonely process. I hear from so many people that they just feel defeated a lot. And we need to keep our cheerleader hat on. However, it helps to have someone to share these frustrating times with and to help boost us up.
Yeah.
And so I guess we can start with the first question, which is, you're famous for quoting the term angry applications. I had actually never heard before. What are they?
Yeah. So angry applications, I created it. That's why you probably never heard of it before. It's something I used to do, and it's something most of my clients do. Angry applications are going to be the applications that you submit after a bad day at work. Or maybe you spent the weekend applying for jobs, you come around to Monday morning and you get that auto reject. That's the worst feeling. And so what you immediately do is you start that spiraling cycle, right? I'm going to jump on the computer. I'm going to start looking for every job that's possible out there that's within the salary range I'm looking at. I don't care about what they do, and I'm just firing away, right? LinkedIn's got quick apply, makes angry applications even faster. So I always tell people, if you find yourself in that angry application trap, you need to stop and step away. And the reason for that is because you're not doing yourself any favors. If you're applying to a job that does not align with your value system, that is not something that you want to be doing on a day-to-day basis, if the salary requirements aren't going to keep the roof over your head, please don't hit up submit. You're wasting your time. You're wasting the time of the recruiter or hiring manager on the other end, and it's not going to help you get anywhere. I would rather you take your dog on a walk, make a really fun meal for yourself, take a moment to relax and do something creative, and then come back with a little more inspiration and actually apply to the things that you're a great fit for, you're going to love, and they're going to meet your needs. So I tell my candidates that. I actually talked to someone last night and she mentioned that she had submitted 20 applications one evening. And I was like, oh gosh, okay, here's the angry application, red flag. Let's sit down and let's actually focus on just doing maybe 1 or 2 an evening and make it really robust, really good, really well thought out. You're more likely to get an interview.
Do you think quick apply is a trap for a lot of
100%.
people? Yeah.
100%.
It doesn't help anyone.
No, as a career coach, this is controversial, but do not submit an application through quick apply. Worked on the back end. I know what it does, and it makes it convenient for those sourcers and recruiters. But as a candidate, absolutely not. You are not going to give your best foot forward. You don't get the opportunity to write that cover letter, to really craft that resume to match the position. You're just throwing stuff over the fence, hoping it lands. That's not going to be a good fit for you.
And then you get rejections on all of that.
Yes. Oh
Great.
God.
How does that feel?
And how demotivating is that?
Right. Oh my gosh. So how do you avoid the angry application trap? Is it really just what you just said?
Yeah, I would say if you find yourself in that spiral of, if you feel that feeling in your chest of, oh, the panic setting in, I have to find something now, I want you to literally stand up and walk away.
Yeah.
And it can be something as simple as just going on a walk and looking for everything on your walk that's yellow, which I know sounds like such a funny thing to do, but it's forcing your brain to start looking for new opportunities and looking at things differently. And it's going to help you reground and recenter yourself so that you're not just hitting that quick apply or submitting a generic resume.
I'm sure you also give the advice of network and
Yes.
networking and going out to your network and letting them know that you're looking, right?
Absolutely. Yes. I always say community over competition. I say that to my entrepreneurs and I say that to my candidates. Lean on your community. If you had a great job and your friends came to you and said, hey, I just lost my job, I'm looking for something, you're not going to tell them, so sorry. You're going to absolutely be like, oh my gosh, I'm working for this fantastic company. Let me tell you more about it. How can I help you? Can I get you a referral? Right? We all want to help one another. So communicate, talk to your community. If you're on LinkedIn, share it. If you aren't sure what you want to do, schedule some informational interviews with people and learn about their jobs, learn about what they like about their company, learn about what they don't like. Start narrowing your focus down and get the word out. Let people know I'm looking for a job and I'll take any connections I can get. And also bring something to the table with that. Provide them with, this is the kind of thing that I'm looking for, or this is my salary requirement. I know you all want to help candidates find jobs. I want to help candidates find jobs. Your friends and family do too.
And it's really important to thank those connections once you've landed somewhere.
Yes.
And I do agree. I think that a lot of people, I think people are afraid to reach out and ask for help. There's a fear about it. There's a fear of the unknown. There's a fear of reaching out to someone they don't know. Let's say they're looking at someone in the organization. It's a cold reach out.
Yeah.
And how do you craft that message so it's meaningful?
Yeah. I tell my candidates, put yourself in their shoes, right? If you just get this generic email that, hey, I lost my job and I'd like to connect with you, well, that doesn't quite feel very good. But saying something along the lines of, hey, I noticed you work for X company. I'm really interested in joining this organization. And I think that their initiative to do blank and blank is really important to me. Would you have 30 minutes for me just to learn more about your career journey? All of us want to talk about ourselves. They'll talk about themselves.
Yeah, exactly. Do we have a question, Leah?
Yes, we do. Someone asked, should you use looking for work picture on LinkedIn? Does that make you attractive to recruiters?
I don't think it, Lauren, I would love to get your opinion on this as well. From my opinion, I don't think it hurts, right? Saying that you're open to work or looking for work, I don't think it hurts, but I don't think it's the end all be all. And what I mean by that is if you have that little icon open, it does not mean that someone's just going to reach out and provide you with this golden opportunity. It's just another tool that you can use.
I agree with you. I think it's fine. I think it's on the idea of a quick apply. You can't just put your banner on and wait. You want to be active. And then I think the other thing we want to talk about is the market has shifted dramatically.
Yes.
The last 2 years, 2021 and 22 there were fewer candidates. a lot of roles that need to be filled. Open to work was, we use a recruiter or an organization saw that and they just went right after those folks. And it was just a frenzy. But now it's very different. And it's not just, it's in all industries.
Yes.
All professions, all different job types. So we really have to work harder and smarter. The other thing I was going to bring up or circle back to really is that angry applications end up with, I don't want to use the word angry interviews, but that is that they do. And I think what happens is they coming in a little hot. Have you seen that?
110%. And I think if you were to poll my clients, they would all say that's one of the first things I talk to them about is when you're in a place of scarcity or fear or resentment with your current employer, maybe an employer that recently laid you off or you lost your job, you don't want to go into that future interview and treat it like a punching bag for the aggression or frustration that you have. And that's actually where a coach, I think, can help. There are times I tell my clients, I'm like, all right, this is a vent session. Let it out. Let's get it all out on the table. I'm here to commiserate with you. I hear stuff all the time and I'm like, oh, that's horrible. And maybe you just want to hear that as, wow, that was a really terrible experience. And I'm here to also be that like neutral party to say it won't be like that everywhere else. Because sometimes you get into that place where you're so irritated, let's say with your boss, potentially, you fire off that angry application, you go into the interview and you're already on defense mode. You're like, I'm here, but I don't trust you. I've got this bad thing going on behind the scenes. I would rather you come talk to me first and then go see Mulberry, right? Let's get some of that frustration out. Let's reframe it. Let's allow you to see more opportunity. A lot of times, also, I talk to candidates all the time that say, I'm irritated because I don't feel like I'm making enough. Let's do some market research. Let's figure out if you are. Sometimes they are, a lot of times they're not, and really get some facts and things to push them forward rather than sticking in the feelings. Fact over feeling always.
Completely. Yep. Leah, we have another one.
Yes, we actually have two. So I'll ask one and then there'll be another one. Next question. What recommendation do you have for someone who has done it all by the book? Custom resume, cover letter, targeted company, and job, etc., and still not working. What else can someone do?
That is the point where I actually would say contact a career coach because there's something going on. And doing it by the book, I haven't talked to you, so I don't know your story, but I'm going to make an assumption here. By the book probably means that you've Googled a resume template, you've Googled how to do a cover letter, something along those lines. And I would love to take a look at that and say, okay, what is that resume showing? Cover letters. This is the one thing I try to tell people, don't make them boring. I've sat down with stacks of 250 cover letters when I worked in recruiting. And I will tell you, I'm just like chugging coffee trying to stay awake because this template that you find online is horrible. It's just a cookie cutter thing. So if that's the template that you're using for your cover letter, let's chat about it. Like we want to talk about your story. I have a feeling that the storytelling piece that you're doing isn't lining up. So that's probably where the gap is. We can also talk about how you're showing up mentally, right? Are you in a place of frustration? Are you in a place of scarcity? That comes through in an interview. So recalibrating that piece. And then there also is the element of, it could just be, unfortunately, a dry spell, right? I've got a couple candidates that are phenomenal people. They've got great skills. The opportunities in their field are just not there right now. So we're having to really get creative with that job search. So obviously this is an anonymous question, but those are some things that I would immediately start checking off and figuring out, okay, where are we spending time? What's going on with your documents, and work a plan.
So true. And I also think too, people, because the stakes are so high, getting nervous in an interview, just wound up because the stakes are so high, that also comes through. And it can really cloud your judgment. So one of the things I always share with candidates is you want to go in and do your best. And preparation is everything.
Yes.
The more prepared you are, the more confident you are. We had a career conversation with Terry Smith, who is a fabulous HR leader in Portland. And he talks about the STAR method.
Yep.
Capital S-T-A-R.
Yep.
And his broadcast is the most watched video that we have on Mulberry Conversations.
I
And
also use that. Yeah. Go, if you haven't watched that, go watch the STAR method.
go watch it.
Go look at it.
Terry brings a personal touch to it, which is really helpful. And I think Amazon uses this. Intel uses the STAR. A lot of the big Fortune 500 companies do. Not everyone does, but that's okay. Because if you're over prepared, you can narrow it down or adjust accordingly, right? But the confidence that you have, and at the end of the day, the job is going to be right or it's not going to be right.
100%.
Right, it is. And so I really do believe that the preparation will make all the difference.
Yes. And it's a 50-50 interaction, right? You're coming and you're bringing your skill set and the things that you can offer to the company. And they're also bringing an employment package and an experience. 50-50. If you don't leave that interview feeling great and they don't leave that interview feeling great, please part ways, both of you. Like, we don't want that for anybody. So reminding yourself of that as well. Yeah.
Sure. We have another question. Yay. I love this audience.
Yes, we have tons of questions. So the next question, do you have any pointers about taking rejections after an interview and allowing that to shape your next round of applications?
Yes. So first thing first, I tell people, give yourself space to grieve, right? Nobody wants to get a rejection. And as someone who got a lot when I was in the heart of a job search, I feel for you. I've had some low points. I can tell you about them. My poor husband had to bring me a bottle of wine and tacos one night and it was really low. Okay. That's all I'm going to say. But what I would say is give yourself that space, allow yourself to be disappointed. And then we move forward, right? Because what we don't want to do is carry that disappointment to the next round. So allow ourselves to grieve that process and say, man, that really was a bummer. Okay. Now I'm moving forward. Is there anything I could have learned from that? Did I get any feedback during that interview? Maybe talk with a career coach, a trusted friend, run through the experience. Is there anything that you're picking up here that maybe I could have done better? And then move forward. And sometimes rejection is just rejection. Don't take it personally. If you can get some feedback, great. But if you can't, unfortunately, that's part of this process too. So confidence, keep going forward, keep doing what you're doing. You got an interview, so that's a good thing. But yeah, give yourself that space to grieve and then move forward. That's my best advice with that one.
Yeah. And think about it as practice too.
Yeah.
I also think I've eliminated the word rejection because it is, I remember when my girls were all applying to college and this whole thing about getting rejected. It is not a rejection. It is an opportunity.
Yes.
It really is. Because you've always heard the term, everybody always says it's supposed to happen the way it happens and all that other stuff. And there's a lot of truth to that, which is it is an opportunity because when you land that right job, everything that happened before makes sense and everything falls into place. And so it's really a mindset shift for people to think about it. And so I reject rejection. That doesn't work for me because I am all the things that I am. I bring all the skills and experience that I do. And that's what we've got going for us for sure. Yeah. So it's a mindset shift. And the other thing too, is that this wise speakers and many people say things like this, but life is full of ups and downs.
Oh yes.
Nobody's free of it.
Sorry, guys.
You're born into this world and that's just part of the human condition, right?
Yep.
And so there's a couple of downs, get that wine and taco and get on with it, right?
Find your people to ride the ups and downs with you. It makes it a little better.
We have another question.
Yes. How do you determine if it's time for a career change or if you're just feeling burnout?
Ooh, love this question. Love this question. Okay. Actually, on my website, I have a link called free resources. And in that is my blog. I also have a workbook you can get for resume tips. I have an entire blog on this. I'll give you some highlights here. Is it time for me to leave or am I just burned out? The biggest question that dictates those two things is your value system. Is your value system in alignment with your company's value system? So for example, if I believe that honesty, integrity, and open communication are something that I want in friendships, family relationships, potentially romantic relationships, you should want the same of your company. You should want to know that your company is doing company meetings every so often, giving you full view into what's going on so that you can articulate your journey into theirs. Really tap into that value system and figure out, am I in a place that helps me holistically be a better person? If the answer is no, it might be time to find a new role. If the answer is yes, it could be burnout, which is equated to long-term stress, and high amounts of stress and or workload. And that might mean an adjustment in boundary setting, or there's lots of different other things, maybe in the way you're working, capitalizing on your strengths. We could go down a whole rabbit hole there, but read that blog if you're interested in that. It's on my website. But the biggest one I would say, number one, check in with that value system. Does my value system align with the company or the organization that I work with?
And then while you're doing that, while you're in that mode, we don't want to make the company that you're working for the enemy. It's really important to set your goal and work towards that goal.
Yep.
And do it in a way that is professional, and you maintain that relationship with the organization and with your coworkers, because it's easy to get into that trap.
I tell my candidates all the time, I don't believe there is any such thing as a bad organization. Obviously there's extremes, right? But in general, there isn't such thing as a bad organization. It's just a bad fit for you, right?
Yes.
I've worked in organizations, it was a bad fit for me. It doesn't mean it's a bad fit for everybody. I know the certain candidate type that I'm like, you're going to succeed so well in that organization, but finding the right fit for you. It's where you can flourish. You're going to be able to grow. You're going to be able to capitalize on what you do best.
So true. So true. I'm listening to an audiobook, Start, Stay, or Leave. What you want to do is you really want to look at your career.
Yeah.
In fully. And what the writer talks about is you start with the end in mind. Where do I want to go with my career? And yes, this company may not be in alignment, which is fine. But then you work your way backwards and you really put together that vision board that you were talking about before we started, so that you're creating, and you're really creating your life.
Absolutely.
And then you're in charge, right?
100%.
It's not happening to you. You're making it happen. Right?
Exactly. Yes.
Again, it's a mindset shift.
100%.
I think the other thing too with people is sometimes people have the luxury of leaving their job before they have a job.
Yes.
And that can always be a possibility for some. And then the other is, if you are not working and you want to find that job, there are jobs you could do, volunteer. You want to be around people. You want to distract from the whole process and put something in place for the week, whether it's 10 or 12 hours a week, and give back. It's so uplifting.
You can also give back while you work full time. We're a believer in that.
Yeah, for sure. Leah, we have another question. I love this audience. Oh my God, this is great.
Yes, we do. What is the best way to approach your network for support when you aren't sure what you want to do next?
Yes. Okay. Informational interviews is one way that you can start approaching your network and gathering information. One of the things that I talk about with my clients all the time is connecting with people to learn more, right? So if you are in a place and you're like, I think I want to work with people, but I also enjoy reporting. Maybe we contact an HR person, maybe an HR project manager that's in your network, and you sit down with them and you ask them questions about their job to learn more. It's a really easy way for you to start figuring out, oh, I like this. Oh, I don't like this. I'm going to give away free tips here, but 5 questions that I have my clients ask during an informational interview. Past, present, future, 2 fun ones. So past, what did you do to get into this role? You need to know the journey.
Yeah.
What did someone do? Do you have to go get a degree? Maybe not. Present, what does your day-to-day look like? Because if your day-to-day is something that I really don't want to do, probably don't want to do that role. And then future, what's the future of this role? Actually, this was about 2 years ago. I had a candidate who asked that question, and come to find out the field was ending. Like it was an ending to that field. Technology had taken over. And if she had not asked that question, she could have potentially taken a role that within 18 months would have been non-existent.
Oh.
So asking those questions about what does the future outlook look like for this? And the person she was interviewing goes, not great. Maybe not take this role. And then 2 fun ones. What is your schedule like? What is the thing that you do every day that brings you the most enjoyment? What is challenging about your role? Asking questions about the organization. You get freebies on those, but past, present, and future will set you up for success to know how to get somewhere, what it looks like, and where it's going.
Absolutely. Those are great. That's great advice.
Yeah. And if you don't know what you want to do, you can just ask those questions until you find something that seems interesting. It's like being a discoverer to just kind of go through it all and figure it out.
It's true. And there are a lot of resources out there, including yours, which is you have the career exploration package.
Yes.
Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So my career exploration package is a 6-week package. I am a Gallup Clifton Strengths certified coach. And so it starts with that assessment. So first thing we're going to do is take a look at you. what strengths do you have? What things do you naturally do well? And what things are going to be a little bit more of a challenge? And how can we utilize that view to find roles that are going to capitalize on what you're naturally good at? Then from there, we're going to go through a bunch of different exercises. So looking at your values, looking at job characteristics. What is it that you want to do day to day that you like? If you love reporting, great. There are other people out there that Excel is like the worst thing that they could think of. And then looking at employer characteristics. One key element that people don't think about is, what do I need from an employer? Is that healthcare? Is that retirement? Is that PTO? Is it a flex schedule? Are you a working parent that took some time off and is now getting back into the workforce? Do you need things to adjust for that? Really holistically looking at, what can an employer provide for me? And what kind of environment do I want to work in? Do I want to work from home? Do I want to work in an open office concept? Do I want to have a door I can shut? Right? Really thinking about those things and starting to envision yourself in that place. And then I send you out, we start doing some informational interviews with an informational interview plan. By the time we're done, you'll have completed 10 of those. And then we'll wrap it all together and see, what have we figured out? Did you think you loved to do Excel and analytics? And then you sat down with someone and thought, never mind, I'm actually creative. We sort through all those things. It's really a good learning journey. But yeah, 6 weeks for that one. And some people carry it on longer if they need to, and others figure it out pretty quickly. So
Yeah, those are great tips. And everybody has a different journey. And there are so many resources and there's so much help out there.
yes.
I get so many times people say, hey, my daughter just graduated from college
Mhm.
and she could use a little boost, and what's next. And that's the other thing too, newly minted grads. I don't see the schools really preparing students for this journey. I just don't understand why there's that disconnect. Right?
Yeah, I think, and it depends on the school you're looking at, but a lot of universities have really robust programs and a lot have next to nothing. I try to volunteer at some of those career fairs when I can, just to give a little bit extra, but it's just, they're teaching a lot of the tactical skills. But the thing that I've noticed is mindset is the most important piece of this entire journey. And if your mindset's not in check, we got to get it in check, because you're running a marathon. You are not running a sprint, and copying and pasting something into a resume template or a cover letter template may not do it. So for those new grads, like, really tap into your networks, really surround yourself with people who love and care about you and want to help you get there, because you need that support.
And then your parents' network. But it's true that the parents have a huge network.
Yeah. And if you are someone out there who maybe your parent, I was a first generation college student, so maybe your parents don't have a network for what you're trying to get into. This is an open invitation to anyone. You can go and connect with me on LinkedIn. You can use my network. I do not mind. I'm all about making those connections, because it can be really hard if you're in a spot where maybe your parents don't have those connections, but figure out, maybe your friends' parents do, or we'll work it out. We'll figure it out. There's a will, there's a way. So we'll make it work.
About two people that you went to school with, right?
Oh yeah.
And good friends and their parents. And I think sometimes we get narrow and we're not thinking broadly. And so that's why conversation helps. And it was going to bring me to my last point, but I did want to say that this digital life that we're in, I find that a lot of people are just really fearful of, or not fearful, or just hesitant to reach out to people and to make those connections, because everything's been done behind the scenes.
Yes.
And it's really have to work that muscle, right?
Yeah.
Because you've got to be relational and personable. And that's how things get done. It's not through a text or reach out and thanks a lot, goodbye, and you never ever talk to that person.
Yeah. This is a perfect example. You could go look at Mulberry's website or my website, and you're going to get an idea for who we are, right? But in something like this, you're actually seeing us and hearing us and making that connection and saying, oh, I can actually envision myself working with that person, and I understand how they're going to show up in a meeting. So yeah, that personal connection, it still matters, guys. I'm sorry, I hate it. I know you want to just be able to text somebody, but there is nothing.
Quick apply.
Yeah, quick apply. There's nothing that substitutes for that connection.
Yeah.
People want to put a face to the name. They want to know you. Yeah.
For sure. Leah, we have one more question and then we can close up for today.
Yes, we do. Someone mentioned that they really get bogged down with all the information that's out there when simply Googling tips and tricks to improve their outreach to hiring managers / companies. Do you have some trusted resources or partners to tighten that search a bit?
Yes, I do. Mulberry Talent's website, go there. That's the first one I would say. Well, let me back up a little bit. Find people in the industry that are thought partners that are putting out good, trusted information. You can absolutely go and Google a resume template or resume tips and tricks. You can also go to my website and get something from a career coach that's going to be much more narrowed. It's updated as the conditions of the job market get updated. On my website, I have a blog. I send a blog out every week. All you have to do is sign up for it. It literally comes to your inbox and you can click on it if you want to read it or not, or you can go to the website whenever you feel like it and read it there too. But Mulberry Talent's got their career conversations. I actually watched a few before this and fantastic content. Mac's List is another one locally here in the Portland metro area. Mac is great. And he's got a job board there. He's also got a lot of resources. There's a whole list of PDX career coaches. I know Mulberry is going to be having some similar resources on their end. So reach out to these people who are established. I mean, Lauren's a great resource to say, hey, I'm looking for this. Do you know of where I can find it? I can guarantee you she can get that to you faster than a Google search. And I can as well.
Thank you so much for all of that, because it's all true. And Mac has podcasts.
Yes.
His podcast library is very rich. In fact, I was on Mac's podcast right at the first year of the pandemic. And so you can search the podcast library on
Happened
Mac's
to your career.
Everything you'd ever want to know about anything related to job search and career, wherever you are. But I will go back to the question that was asked was, I'm Googling. And that kind of takes us back to what we talked about before. We have to get from behind the computer and actually get out there. And the one other great resource is to whatever area you are in what industry you're in, talk and meet with recruiters in that industry, whether it's marketing, because that's how you build your network too. And then you can have conversations and learn more. And that's how you learn about job opportunities. You learn little things as you go along, and it all makes a difference.
Yes. If there's a position open on a team at a company somewhere, I can with almost 100% guarantee tell you that the people on that team are going to know about it before it ever gets posted, right? They're already feeling the burden of, oh, we need another person on this team to help facilitate. So if you're out communicating with people that I'm looking for this position, this is what I want to do long-term, this is where I want to be, people want to help you get there. When they know, oh my gosh, I think this could be a good role to help you on that journey, they're going to reach out and help you. But I would say if you are going the tech route, the Google search is not going to help. Try and find someone local, get on those podcasts, really try and get some information from people that are actively contributing to the space, because it does change. The job market, just like you were saying, Lauren, it's shifted again. Tech is hitting it and feeling it right now. So, right now, the stuff that's coming out about tech is the most relevant because it's happening in the moment.
Yeah, this has been a fabulous conversation. And one of my favorite podcasters always asks their guests, what's next for you, Brandi? What do you have on the horizon for your business? Share a little bit more so people know more about how they can benefit from connecting with you.
You're catching me right in the smack dab of a growth moment. We just rebranded. So if you go to the website, you're going to see a new logo and a new website. There is more pages to come. I'm just working on it. So no, there are more packages coming out. They're behind the scenes. We just haven't gotten them out public yet. I'm also bringing on more coaches. I was telling Lauren right before this phone call, we're going to be expanding our coaching team to have people that are very specific and tailored to different areas. So maybe going from corporate to nonprofit, or if you need SEO expertise, recruiting agency, we've got people that they're coming on board, people that work in the tech space. So these are all areas I can speak to, but it is not something that I'm an expert in. So I'm so excited to get some extra people on my team that are the experts. So if I'm talking with you and I'm like, you know what, you need to go talk with this person, they're going to get you all the information that you need if you're in one of those categories. So yeah, super
Very
excited.
good. No, that's really exciting. That's great. Job seekers are going to be well taken care of.
That's our goal. Yes. From start to finish, start of your career, all the way through retirement, or as one of my clients said, my encore career. He retired and wanted to go do something else. We're here for you. We want to support you. I want to give you all the tools and then pass you off to places like Mulberry, where you can go and flourish once you kind of have it all figured out. So
Yay. Thanks everyone for being here with us. Have a great weekend. And we look forward to seeing you again on our next career conversation. And Brandi, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Lauren. It was fantastic.
Perfect. Okay. All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.